champion Chyna, who said a woman has no place in his sport over in Japan. Out of the confrontation, a challenge was made, and Joanie became the first woman ever to wrestle a man professionally in Japan. Now, Japan is a very secretive culture, yet with the approval of New Japan and TV Asahi, we were able to document Joanie's amazing journey as she prepared for the biggest fight of her life.
This is by far the biggest thing I have ever done in my career. Here we are, we just arrived. Japan. After the WWE, I wasn't really sure what I was going to do. And then Mr. Inoki, who is very, very, very powerful in Japan, took me under his wing. It's very serious. You have to be a professional and you have to be good because you only get one chance. We're exhausted. We're met here by some local press. Chyna-san is probably the most popular, most loved, #1 wrestler in Japan. This is a really big deal here. Every cover of every newspaper, magazine, never before have they ever had the male versus female aspect. I'm really disgusted with the way that he has been demeaning not only women in general, but I feel like he's put me down as far as a fighter goes.
Joanie 관계네.
And I am more determined than ever. I'm just gonna kick his ass. There were a lot of things going on there, and I was there by myself. And so it was really put up or shut up time. Konnichiwa, Mr. Kawana, it's Queen Joanie. There it is. That's the big granddaddy of them all. Wow. That's where we're going to have the big showdown. I had kind of a rough sleep last night, so good thing is we woke up to a beautiful sunny day. I really stand out in the United States, but when you go to a place like Japan, boy, it's, I'm not one that blends in the crowd. I am looking for kimono. I'd like kimono for me. Join you. And people were starting to yell my name, taking pictures, following me down the street. Women would come up and get very excited. They were very intrigued with my body. The men, I think, were a little more intimidated, but the women were just fascinated. Instead of Lauer, they call me Rolla. Rolla, you'll hear. So, in honor of that, I've made my own t-shirt. Mr. Inoki had a secret dojo meeting for me. You guys are not allowed to where I'm going. The reason why it was so secret was because that was a time where I would go and I would train with some of the trainers who knew every move that Chyna makes. Okay, it's about 3 a.m. in the morning, and I've been training all night. I think I've come up with some great moves that I'm going to use. It was getting closer and closer, and the more I was doing, the more nervous I was getting. We're on our way now to Korakuen Hall. All of the greatest legends in wrestling, sumo, have fought in Korakuen Hall. Chyna was fighting that night. I wore my little Chono shirt that I had made, and I just did everything I could to rile him up. And push his buttons, because he was pushing mine. Not only did it piss me off by him ripping my shirt off, what he didn't know was that was just mustering a desire inside of me to go in there and really kick his ass. I'm gonna make a mockery out of him. Monday, Chyna. He can pull my shirt off all he wants. I can pull my pants off, whatever. I'll kick his ass naked if I have to. It is the day before the big match at the Tokyo Dome. Okay, bye-bye, boys. Well, fans at the hotel gave me some nice pictures, and we are going to Shibuya town for a press conference. was very uncomfortable in front of that crowd because the people just love Chyna.
I didn't come here to roll around on the mat with somebody. I came here to beat Chyna's ass.
Here I was getting ready talking about a very, very crucial fight, and there was some guy, the little announcer, making fun of me, and I could hear the people laughing. And it really made me mad. I think that I slapped the daylights out of the poor guy. It made me the bad guy.
See, slapping him hurt the out of it. That was a hard slap, man.
I most definitely didn't feel that they were on my side at that point.
Gotta get ready for the party now.
So we're on our way into the party for the 30th anniversary of New Japan. All of the guys were up on stage, and Mr. Inoki talked about me, but I was off to the side on the bottom of the stage, which I found kind of bizarre, except for the one moment that Mr. Inoki came down from the stage, and I gave Mr. Inoki a big kiss on the cheek. Thank you, Mr. Inoki. People were coming up and taking pictures and asking for autographs, and I was starting to get almost irritated because all I could think about was my match the next day. I don't think I've ever been as nervous about anything in my entire life.
You've just seen Joanie Laurer getting ready to face her biggest fears.
I felt like I just wanted to turn around and run away.
Now you gotta stick around to see her face off against Chyna in front of 60,000 screaming fans. You won't believe what happens. The unbelievable conclusion of Joanie's story next.
Now, when we left Joanie Lauer's story, she had spent a week in Tokyo getting ready for the biggest wrestling match of her life against Japanese heavyweight champion Chono. Now, leading up to the bout, Joanie experienced firsthand a Japanese culture that had never seen such a strong woman. Joanie and Chono feuded publicly as the nation prepared for its first true battle of the sexes. Well, the warm-up is now over, and the day of the big fight finally arrived. Little did Joanie know that this match was to be the toughest and bloodiest of her career. I have to warn you, some of what you will see is graphic in nature and not suitable for all audiences. Here now, the conclusion of Joanie's incredible story.
This is the biggest day of my life, and I am very, very nervous.
So we're at Shinjuku. We're here for one of the most popular shows in Japan.
So my fight is in a couple of hours, and there I had to go to this TV show.
So he's asking me true stories, and I just say yes or no.
Yes. Oh, I can do that. And I was thinking, what am I doing at a show with people with fish on their head when I have this huge thing about to happen in a couple of hours? And I think they had to point me in the right direction to walk. Okay, so that was fun. I have no idea what anybody said. Right after the TV show, we had to go directly to the Tokyo Dome. I was about to go and wrestle the #1 wrestler in a male group in front of close to 70,000 people. I felt like I just wanted to turn around and run away. I'll get one opportunity. One chance. So I'm rather nervous about that.
All right, this is it. Man, balls to the wall right here.
It was by far the biggest thing that I was about to embark on in my career. When Chono made his entrance, my breathing started getting faster. I started getting more nervous, more riled up. As soon as he stepped into the ring, I just wanted to attack him and go full out. Right away, he came back and surprised me. broke my nose. I had a plan and a strategy, and then as soon as you get your lights knocked out, all of a sudden you get stunned and things change in there. He gave me his finishing move. They call it the mafia kick, which is basically a boot to the face. I think that he thought once he did that to me that I wasn't going to get up. It was on. And his last little effort, he surprised me with a kick. I fell down on top of him. Oh, I almost got him for the 1, 2, 3. Boy, I almost got him. I mean, there's just nothing that I could do at that point. He hit me with his mafia kick again. I had taken it so many times. I just couldn't get up. My first instinct was I lost. I was very shaken up. I was hurt. I had the biggest sense of relief that it was over. I felt very, very proud. It was a hell of a fight, man. My ass off. My aim today was to come here to give people a fight. Realistically, I was quite honored to fight Chyna. He's the best. It was tough. It was tough, and I did it. Thank you. Arigato. See you next time. I don't think I need to prove myself anymore. Now I need to just beat him. Doing this fight was the most personal fulfillment that I have gotten out of quite possibly anything that I've done in my life, from a career standpoint, and personally, in my heart.
Please welcome to the show, Joanie Laurer, along with the promoter of New Japan Wrestling, Mr. Inoki, his translator and son-in-law, Simon, as well. Now, Joanie, real quickly, Mr. Inoki, we know that he fought Muhammad Ali way back when, and he is also the world's greatest promoter of this sport. Can you kind of put it into perspective what he means to?
Well, I think why Mr. Inoki is important to me, too, and why this is so emotional for me is Mr. Inoki is a visionary in the sense that he has always been a step ahead of his time. He's always thought outside the box. He was a senator. He was involved in peace talks. He was one of the first mixed martial artists ever. And you know, I think that so many people only could see me, and I only had the opportunity to do a little bit of what I was really capable of, and something that I, you know, came from here. And Mr. Inoki took me under his wing and gave me that opportunity to progress and to be Joanie Hyrola. And it's really made a difference and completely fulfilled me. And I wanted people to see this because I wanted them to see what I was doing. I wanted them to see that I didn't lose the match because I've done something that nobody has done. And I was really proud to take a beating, and I gave it good to him, too. And now I can go back and beat him.
Well, let's ask Mr. Inoki, through the interpreter, what was it about Joanie which you thought would appeal to the Japanese people and help her to break this barrier?
一つはね、きっかけはね、サンタモニカの道場に来られたということと、それからまあ一番の潜在可能性をね、まだまだ持ってるんで、それをぜひ引っ張り出して日本のファンに紹介して。
They first met at the Santa Monica Dojo at its grand opening, and that's when I met her for the first time. And he sensed something really very big, in that he could do so much more stuff than the actual wrestling. So therefore, he thought she was actually the best athlete out there and could do so much more. So that's why he wanted her to be in his organization.
Visionary stuff, Chris.
Without a doubt. Joanie, you brought a little extra luggage with you today. You mind holding this up? Since the piece, you have been able to... You're engaged. All right? And you have your fiancé here today. Sean is in the audience. Sean, congratulations. Now, when's the big day, kiddo? Joanie. Real quickly, when's the big day?
We just got engaged, so
I mean,
I
it's
have
just...
to decide what kind of a queen wedding I would like. I don't know.
Does he
Surprise
wrestle?
myself.
Does he wrestle?
Sean and I wrestled together.
You do?
For many, many years we were friends, and it just happened to be that I'm going to marry one of the best friends I ever had.
Congratulations. Hey, for more on Joanie's adventure and some unforeseen footage, log on to foxsports.com on Lycos, keyword best damn. Mr. Inoki, Joanie, thank you. We're back.